Hello children. Today we are going to continue with Geography Chapter 2, Abiotic Resources, Land, Soil and Water. In the previous class you have studied about land resources and today we are going to study about soil resources. So before studying about soil resources, let me explain you what is soil. Soil is basically a thin layer of rough or coarse substances which is covering the surface of the earth. You might have seen the land around you. The brown substance which you can see on the ground, that is soil. Soil is very closely related to the land. We can say that the quality of soil decides the fertility of land. How much fertile the soil is, that much productive will be the land. As we have discussed, that fertility of land depends on soil. So soil is very important because the agricultural productivity of any land is decided by the type of soil it has. If the soil is fertile, the land will be more productive. The topmost layer of the soil, which is known as humus, it consists of remains of decayed plants and dead organisms. These plants and organisms are converted into humus by the action of microorganisms which are present in the soil. And then this humus, it mixes with the broken down rock pieces and give a form to the layer of soil. So in this manner we can say that soil is present in the form of a layered structure. And this layered structure of soil is termed as soil profile. This structure of soil prevails from bedrock to the topmost layer of the soil, which is humus. So now we will be studying about soil profile. As I have explained right now, that the layered structure of a soil is known as soil profile. This structure prevails from bedrock to the topmost layer. So this structure of a soil is divided into different layers which are known as horizons. The different horizons which are present in a soil profile are horizon A, which is topsoil, horizon B, that is subsoil, horizon C, that consists of fragmented rocks, and horizon D, that is bedrock or parent rock. So let us discuss about all these four horizons in detail. First we'll be studying about horizon A. That is the topmost layer of the soil or topsoil. Horizon A basically consists of layer of humus which is very fertile. This layer decides the productivity of the land. It consists of humus and the rock pieces which are present in the soil and are termed as the upper layer of soil. Second is horizon B, which is known as subsoil. This layer of subsoil is present between the layer of topsoil and fragmented rocks. This layer basically consists of rock pieces, iron oxides and soluble minerals. This layer supports and helps in the growth of plants. Third layer is horizon C or fragmented rock layer. This layer basically consists of rock pieces which are arranged in a loose manner. Or we can say the rock pieces in this layer comes from parent rock and they are not closely arranged. This layer lies below the subsoil and above the parent rock. Next layer is horizon D, which is known as bedrock or parent rock. This is the solid layer. This layer consists of rock pieces which are closely arranged, and because of this arrangement, they are not affected by outside weather. That's why this layer is called as the unweathered rock, because the rocks which are in this layer, these rocks are unaffected by the action of weather. As we have discussed that the productivity or the fertility of land depends on the quality of soil. So we can say that different type of crops are grown in different type of soil as per the needs of the crop. Now we are going to study about the factors affecting the formation of soil. As we have discussed right now, that parent rock or bedrock plays a very important role in the formation of soil, because from there only the rocks originate and they reaches up to the top layer. So the factors on which the formation of soil depends are relief, parent rock, climate, time, natural vegetation, wildlife and microorganisms. So these are some of the factors which decide the type of soil and its formation. So let us discuss about these factors in detail. First factor is parent rock. As I have explained right now, that parent rock is the source of rock pieces which makes the soil. So in this manner, parent rock decides the texture, appearance, color, mineral content and the capacity to absorb water of the soil. It means whatever are the features of a soil, those features are being decided by its parent rock. Next factor is relief. Relief basically means the type of landform. So we can say that height and slope plays a very important role in the formation of soil. The landforms or the places which are having steep slopes have thin layer of soil, because steep slopes allows the easy wash away of the top layer of soil. And on the other hand, the places which are having gentle slopes are having thick and deep layers of soil, because it supports the soil. As we have discussed, the top layer of soil washes away. So the places which are having gentle slopes, it does not allow the easy runoff of the top layer of soil. Next factor is climate. Temperature and rainfall are the two climatic variables which play a very important role in the formation of soil. As we have discussed earlier, that soil comprises of broken rock pieces and the remains of dead and decaying organisms. So these rock pieces are broken down by the action of wind and water, and the organisms are decayed by the action of microorganisms. So both these processes require an appropriate temperature and rainfall. So in this manner, these two variables help a lot in the formation of soil. Next factor is time. Time determines the thickness of soil. As we all know, soil formation is a long process. It takes thousands of years to form a layer of soil. So we can say that how much time is taken by the layer of soil to be formed, that much will be the thickness of soil. As the time will be more, the thickness of soil will be more. Next and last factor is natural vegetation, wildlife and microorganisms. All these three factors play a very important role in the formation of soil. In this, natural vegetation refers to plants, wildlife refers to animals and microorganisms refers to the small microorganisms which help in decaying the organic matter. So when we talk about all these three factors, they are interrelated. As we have discussed that soil consists of remains of dead and decaying plants and animals. So when these plants and animals are decayed, they are decayed by the action of microorganisms like bacteria, fungus and protozoa. And in turn, when these organic matter is added with the soil or with the rock pieces, it leads to the formation of humus, which decides the fertility of the soil. So in this manner, plants, animals and microorganisms plays a very important role in the formation of soil as well as to determine the fertility of soil. Next, we are going to study about degradation of soil. As you all know, that soil decides the agricultural produces of a land. So we can say that soil is directly related with our life because it provides us with different type of food which we eat. So it is very important to use the soil properly. Soil is having certain features like fertility, capacity to retain and to absorb moisture. So in this manner, these properties helps to make the soil fertile. And if the soil is fertile, it helps in increasing the crop production. So we can relate all these things together and we can say that it is very important to conserve our soil if we want to get a better produce. But nowadays, people are consistently misusing our soil resources. So we can say that when any of these soil properties, they are increased or decreased, it leads to soil erosion. Soil erosion is basically the wash off of the top layer of soil. When the topmost layer humus is washed away due to the action of wind or water, that is known as soil erosion. And due to soil erosion, the fertility of soil goes on decreasing and it leads to the degradation of soil. And this infertile soil does not even allows the plants to grow. So in this manner, if the soil is not being used properly, it is going to affect our life too. Even the erosion of soils depends on the texture of soil. If the soil is loose and porous, then soil erosion takes place very easily. So let us discuss about some of the reasons of degradation of soil. Some reasons of soil erosion are deforestation, landslides, floods, surface runoff of the layer of soil, improper farming techniques, overgrazing of land, uncontrolled runoff of surface water, overuse of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, strong wind and rainfall, and the last and the most important, human activities. Human activities affect the soil a lot. Human beings are responsible for soil erosion. The regular activities of human beings like plowing the land, cutting down the forest to get a flat land is increasing soil erosion. When the forests are cleared to get a flat land, this leads in making the soil very loose and which easily allows the soil to wash away with heavy water or wind. As we know, and even we have discussed, that the roots of the trees hold the soil. So when the trees are cut down and the roots become lifeless, so in this manner the roots cannot hold the soil and very easily the soil is washed away with the action of wind or water. So in this manner, soil erosion is continuously happening. As we have discussed about degradation of soil and its importance, as we know that soil is very important for our survival too, and consistently the soil is degrading. So it is very important to conserve the soil or to protect the soil. So moving ahead, let us discuss about conservation of soil. Conservation of soil basically means prevention, protection and proper utilization of soil resources. And this conservation of soil is very important in rural areas to improve the efficiency of soil. Basically, as we know that the people living in rural areas are mostly engaged in agriculture, and for agriculture, good land is very important. So it is very important to conserve our soil resources in rural areas so that the people, those who are engaged in agricultural works, can be benefited by it. Soil conservation is an appreciable effort which is taken by human beings. It is helpful in reducing soil erosion and in turn increasing the fertility of soil. We cannot stop soil erosion permanently or fully, but by the efforts which are made by human beings, we are able to stop soil erosion up to a certain extent, which has resulted in improving the fertility of the soil and the quality of soil. So let us discuss about some of the methods which are more helpful in conservation of soil. First method is afforestation. This process or this method is basically used in coastal and dry region. In this method, rows of trees are planted at short distance between the farm to provide a shelter belt. So in this manner, it is tried to conserve the soil, because in coastal and dry region, soil erosion is very common due to the action of heavy wind and water. Next method is mulching. In this method, organic matter like grass, straw, etc. are grown between the rows of the plants in the bare grounds. And these organic matters are grown to retain the moisture of the soil. In this manner, when the soil gets continuous moisture, it helps in conserving the soil as well as increasing the fertility of the soil and results in better crop production. Next method is to control overgrazing. Overgrazing basically means the extra grazing by the animals. When the animals are set free for the whole day and they overgraze, this results in loosening the soil, because as we have discussed that the roots of the plants hold the soil. So when the animals are left free and they continuously graze, this makes the soil loose and in turn results in soil erosion. So to reduce this, overgrazing should be controlled and fodder should be grown up as a crop. Next method is contour barriers. This method is basically adopted in the hilly regions. As we know, hilly regions are having steep slopes which easily leads to soil erosion. So in this method, grass, stones, soil bags are used to make contour barriers which helps in preventing soil erosion. Next method is rotation of crops. Rotation of crops means growing the crop in alternative season. In this method, different types of crops are grown alternatively in the same field, because as we know, different crops need different type of nutrients from the soil. So when alternate crops are grown in the same land, it helps in retaining the fertility of soil by itself. In this method, when alternate crops are grown, the deficiency of a particular type of mineral is retained by the soil itself in the alternative season. Next is contour plowing. This method is even adopted in the hilly region. In this method, cropping is done basically on the contours of the hill slopes, because these contours on the hill slopes prevent the easy runoff of the surface water and it helps in reducing soil erosion. In this method, the contours which are made, it does not allow the water to wash off in a speedy manner. It allows the water to move swiftly over the slopes and helps in reducing soil erosion. Next method is terrace farming. Terrace farming is basically the method which is used on steep slopes. In this method, the slopes are cut down in the form of steps and the farming is done over those steps. And these terraces or steps, they help in controlling the soil erosion by controlling the surface flow of water. Next method is construction of dams. As we know, dams are built to control the flow of water. So when dams are constructed, it helps in reducing the speed of water, which in turn leads to reduce the soil erosion. Next and the last method is intercropping. In this method, alternate crops are grown in the field and they are sown at different times, and this process is basically done to prevent the soil from rain wash. In this method, the field is not left barren, which does not allow the soil to easily wash away with the heavy water. So with this, we have discussed about soil resources, and in the next class we'll be discussing about water resources. So before winding up the class today, let us discuss about soil resources in brief. Soil refers to the thin layer of grainy substances covering the surface of earth. Soil is formed by the disintegration of the rocks and decayed organic matter by the living organisms, water and air. The layered structure which spreads from the bedrock to top surface layer is known as soil profile. Afforestation, mulching, overgrazing, contour barriers, rotation of crops, and terrace farming are the main methods of soil conservation. So this was all about soil resources. With this, we are going to wind up the class today. Goodbye for now. Stay home, stay safe.